She actually just signed a 1-year contract with TNT, and then the following day, hopefully sometime at night, they'll come and speak to them and we're looking to help.
No,
Yes.
I had a nice conversation with them. We haven't done it.
Okay. What's that?
Yeah, I don't know. She has one
Is that flipper?
Is there any more of these, meeting?
He's
Any more
gonna
of these?
leave it for me with
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take it with the cover on.
Oh, my God, so I already have those. Okay, well, hello everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. We're going to call to order this meeting. And with that, we always do the Pledge of Allegiance. So, let's go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Say amen after it.
So we have an agenda. Does everybody have an agenda in front of them?
No.
Well, let's get you. We want to welcome you all here and appreciate you being here. We are going to try very hard to stay on their timeline, as some of us come right straight from work and have not been home to see our families or had dinner yet. So we're going to try to make the very best of our time. And I'd like to remind everybody that we're going to be polite to one another. We're going to let each other finish speaking. Take our turn. And there is a space at the end for questions and answers from the audience. So we're going to go about our business and do our work tonight. And if anybody has a statement that they feel is helpful, then we'd love to hear from you. But if you have a question, please keep it to the end, and we'll be able to try to answer it as best we can. We wanted to thank the girls, the group, P10, or I call them the network, for the nice showing we had on Saturday night, and Mary Poppins, and I thought it turned out quite nice, and I think that it was successful, and I think we should do it more often. It was great. So thank you very, very much. And tonight we're in hopes of having, I did speak to Barbara De Niro. She is coming. Is Riff coming?
Riff's supposed to be here, yeah. He said that he'd be.
Awesome. All right, so we'll do our roll call. And so on our roll call, we have Amber here. Peg Gray. Is she phoned in? No. Myself and Matthews.
I can try to get a hold of her. I sent out a text earlier today and I didn't call.
Oh.
Jen Watson.
Yeah.
Patty Berry.
Here.
And Dale sends her apologies. She's sick. With us is Maria. And Donna's with us tonight as well, the theater manager. And Maria is a friend of an employee of the theater, very hard worker, helping us all with the theater. So, I guess we're gonna turn it over to our secretary, Ms. Jen.
Okay, I think on the second and third page, back to the first one is the meeting minutes from last week. So roll call, Ann, Amber, Patty, Dale, Jennifer, myself, and Donna were here. We, as a committee, voted on the new chair, vice chair, secretary positions, and they're listed here. Ann Matthews is our chair, Amber Quint is our vice chair, and I, Jennifer Watson, and the secretary.
Look.
And we decided at the last committee meeting that we, members need to be physically present at our meetings during this time due to the situation that our theater is in. And we discussed and voted unanimously that it would be best to write a letter to Peg Gray asking her to resign her position on the committee and take on an advisory role, thereby making a position open. And in doing this, it is our hope that we can find somebody with a business or an accounting background to be on the committee to better help guide us. And so I do have that letter here with me tonight. If we want to all, I sent it out as an email for you guys to review. And if we want to sign it, then I can scan it in and email it to her. Or if we want to make changes, I can make changes.
I thought it looked good. Did anybody hear? Oh, I haven't seen that.
Later, whenever you want to do it. All right, then at the last meeting, I discussed the minutes from the theater finance subcommittee. Michelle is collecting data regarding the budget and revenue from 2017 and 2018, and the subcommittee will continue to collect data before bringing any formal recommendations to the theater committee. And last time it was voted on and decided that there will also be a standing marketing subcommittee. It will consist of up to 3 committee members and 3 community advisors who are non-voting members. And volunteers for the subcommittee were myself, Jerry Lynn Perkins, and Leslie Knowles. And the subcommittee will decide when to hold their first meeting and report their minutes to the theater committee at the next theater committee meeting. We did hold that meeting on Monday, so we have notes. We can go over that later. Then Anne reported that she volunteered at the theater on Monday night and suggested it would be a good idea for the other committee members to do the same for a better understanding of the operations. And then we decided on which dates we would be able to help and wrote it down on the calendar. And then Donna spoke about her meeting with John from the Narrow Gauge Cinema in Farmington. She discussed about the savings it would for cutting the broker, reaching out to Andy, or contact with the phone companies, figure out how to phase out the broker. She said that she would need to write letters to the film company, letting them know the changing new contracts. She also discussed that our target audience, which I found was interesting, was 40-year-olds and over. And then also the suggestion of moving the time from 7:30 to 7, and that he has offered 300 seats from his theater, and that we will need to figure out the details on when the seats are available, who will remove them from the narrow gauge, who will transport them, and who will put them in our theater. And the seats are designed for slanted floors, so that we hopefully don't have to make changes to the floor. And we can possibly sell our seats, but we'll need to look into that. Then Amber discussed that she spoke with Rick Johnson, and he recommended we do a talent show instead of open mic. We will check with the schools in town and neighboring towns to see if there's any interest. And she also spoke to the Burnham boys, who will get back to her with a date, hopefully in early April is when that show will be. And then Sarah Lawrence and Leslie Knowles from the Pittsfield Theater Action Network discussed who they are and what they've been working on at their meetings. And they came with a few suggestions for the theater committee, including updating our website. They introduced the idea of a scorecard to help us better analyze proposals, and they were here tonight to tell us more on that. And then we need to have an event policy for groups wanting to come in and figure out what the insurance information is. For marketing, we might be able to put up flyers at Bud Shop and Save and in grocery bags. And then they told us about the Mary Poppins and the rental of the costume from the Opera House, which was wonderful. And then we had it open for questions, and Michelle had some questions regarding the budget revenue, which Donna answered. And then she also suggested that if we were looking into using volunteers, to contact the MCI Ski Club. And then Jason Perkins, in the audience, he gave the committee a proposal for an event. He's an independent filmmaker with the Company Theater, or Cemetery Theater. and they would like to donate 2 films, both rated R, 1 short film that's 20 minutes, 1 full length that's 90 minutes, to be shown on 4/20/2019. It will be a 2-hour event with a custom introduction and a 30-second ad for the sponsor in between. And they will look for a sponsor to provide free popcorn to the audience. They will have a Q&A session after the movie. They are going to be participating in marketing, and all the profits of the ticket sales are going to be given to the theater. The committee voted on it, 4 yeses, 1 opposed, to proceed with this event. And the movies, on the condition that the movies need to be screened first, and that the theater committee needs to check to see if there's policies regarding independent films. And we adjourned.
Good. So I guess that leads us into unfinished business, which I'd say we've got some. Thank you. You can speed read fast.
Yes.
So, does anybody want to make a motion in any of these things that we'd like to move on?
Well, I motion that we all sign that letter to send. I thought it looked good. I think you did a great job. You're very articulate.
Very professional.
Does anybody else?
Second that?
Don't go over there. You'll start something.
Yes, it's bound to get worse, not better.
Now, while we're doing that, I do want to make it clear that this will open up a space, but we already have a space, so if this goes through and Peg should choose to step down, it would be 2 available spots. Hi. So does anybody have any interest on, I move to discuss about the time of the movie theater and what time it should, if it should be moved to 7 o'clock. Does anybody have any discussions about that, anything they want to add?
I like the idea. I think that just that little bit of half hour, I know for me as a parent, makes a big difference of if the movie's getting out before 9 or after 9 on a school night. I'm 10 times more likely to take Mabel to the movies if it's getting out before 9. You know, anything that's over 9, it's kind of hard to take your kids on a school night.
That's a good point. I did some research into 7 other theaters in Maine that are small. We've got them by population, their median household income, the median age of the town, and their evening shows are 7, 7:10. Some of them were varied, but they are all around 7. 7, 6, 6, and 8:30. So the majority of them were before 7. So.
I don't think we're going to want to go too much before 7 because I think then we run into dinner time
yeah.
and people getting home from work and stuff. There's a fine balance.
Okay, so
So I think that would go in a proposal that the finance committee is going to come up with for the town council, because they need to approve that, I believe.
well, I think that we can vote on that,
Right.
and it can be proposed without.
Yeah.
Yeah. Donna,
Because-
what are your feelings about that?
So opening at 7?
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I think it's a good time.
Okay. So, in our inexperienced way, I suppose we all need to Google and study and YouTube Robert's rules and learn about them, and I do on a frequent basis, but I'm still learning, so bear with me, but I suppose we should make a motion to vote on.
I don't think you have enough people to vote on it.
We're
We have a quorum, don't we?
Isn't we don't know?
No, she's right.
You don't have any.
Well, I looked into that.
put it on.
Oh, but it's 3 weeks. We don't have Jerry in yet.
Well, this is
I thought as
it.
long as we had a wedding.
This is Clifford right now.
Are we all in agreement that we want to move it to
This is
7 o'clock?
Clifford.
Yes.
Okay. I'll bring it up to the town council because I'm going to be giving them a report on their next meeting.
I'm watching Clifford.
Do we need to like officially about it?
I don't know how official it'll be, but yay.
I definitely vote yes for 7 o'clock. How about you?
Yes.
So we're crossing off. Maybe tonight is not the night where we don't have enough members to discuss about Donna moving forward with booking movies. Yeah, last week we discussed about her having to do a lot of letter writing and getting that ball rolling. And she's kind of just waiting for us to do it.
I think what we're waiting on, right, is to kind of do a cost analysis of, because in theory, I mean, if she's filling all her hours now, we have to take her away from something to give her more time for this.
Well, if I was under the
You know, so it's a question of, is it really saving our bottom line? But
well, okay. So, in some of the unfinished business, we do have a report from, perhaps I'm jumping ahead here, and in our old business and unfinished business, and this may not be the proper category to put it in, we do have finance subcommittee report. Maybe we should hear from that right now. Are you all in agreement? Is that okay? You're good at it. I think you brought your own, right? Thank you.
Okay, so we
You're gonna
met.
have to speak loud because you haven't given this to everyone, or have you?
No, it's printed enough for us.
Yep.
We met on the 25th at the library because we did not know we needed to be in here. Roll call was myself, Jennifer Watson, Anna Matthews, Amber Quint, Rochelle Varney, and Jim Chouquette. We'll fix that typo there. Rochelle reviewed the work that she has done on the 2017 revenue stream, the 2018 budget versus the 2018 actuals, and the 2017 budget versus the monthly actuals, and a labor analysis. From that, we found that the theater's best months in 2017 and 18 were actually June, July, and August. She was missing some data for both years, and so she said until she received that data, it was kind of hard to make any recommendations concerning if we should be closing any certain days. And then looking at the labor analysis, we were again wondering if it's possible to staff with volunteers, and we wanted to look at what other theaters in Central Maine are doing to see if they are using volunteers or paid employees. I've not gotten that far in my research yet, but it's out there. And then I got some data from the Narrow Gauge and Center Theater regarding their ticket prices, and we decided again it would be best if I can go through and gather that data, as well as the town's population, the median household income, and age to better assist us in making that decision for the change of price. And I brought that tonight. And then we also had a question for Donna. How are gift cards tracked? Do we have like a number each night of how many gift cards?
Yes, how many gift cards come in, how many I've sold out.
Is that in the chart
Was that
somewhere?
somewhere?
Because I don't think it was in.
I don't think it was in what we had either.
Is it in any of this information that was given to us tonight?
And, well, it's added in to on here. I don't have it separately, but it's added into the numbers of total of people and how many free passes are in there.
Okay.
But it's not in the different categories. It's just into the number.
So if that like 10 people came, we don't know how many were actual tickets versus gift
Put in
cards.
gift cards or the gift cards and passes and everything are in total. And but the
think she was thinking just for better tracking of things and deciding ticket prices, if we could start doing that. I don't know if that's possible.
Keep
Yep.
track of the dollar amount of gift certificates each day, like you do like you do the money.
So we could better track things. Okay, next point was we discussed if cuts can be made at concessions, but we will need to have an inventory of the items and receipts to kind of better assess what's most popular. Do items sell well? Do they not sell well? Same with the drinks. Do we need to streamline it? We're thinking maybe cutting down to water, soda, and a children's option, such as a juice, to cut back on extra spending. But we would again need to kind of look at the data on that. And then we discussed sponsorship of a movie. We decided that we need to discuss with the theater committee if we want to have a set number of what we ask to cover for the movie. Do we want to do the cost of the movie plus labor, or take any amount? I'm going to give her her bottle. That would be helpful. And that we would need to provide, you gave us the tax ID number, so that was great. So we can start drafting some kind of letter for that. We just discussed a membership to the theater, and then we would need to gather data on that to make a cost and profit analysis to determine what would be included in that membership. And doing so, we also feel like we need to have an option to pay online as soon as possible. So I was going to talk to Michael again to see about...
Yes, and I can go over my whole conversation here at the town office this week and have a that one.
Then we discussed the need for the credit card machine to be installed and operational as soon as possible. And Amber had volunteered to go reach out to the town office regarding that. Discussed that in order for us to assist in advertising.
Do you want me to keep reading?
Yeah, go ahead.
Discuss the credit card machine. Also need to know what the fee for charge will be. Discussion that in order for us to help assist in advertising, the theater manager on how to add in the task of picking and ordering movies without the broker. It would be helpful to have a log of tasks and duties performed daily. We understand this is a big change and would like to help make the transition easier. Like logging, like what you're doing through the day, just so we're kind of getting a picture of it to know how we're going to fit that in, or if it's going to fit in at all. Maybe it won't.
Wait a minute. So what they're asking is starting tomorrow, when you come to work, if you come to work, we'll say 9 o'clock. I don't know when you're going to come to work. That's your decision.
Whatever you usually do.
Every hour, we need you to write down 9 o'clock to 10 and what you did. At 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, what you did for the week. And Rochelle and the committee has decided that we would really like you to do that until we tell you to stop, because we're trying to figure out where we can get you some help so we can figure in where we can build in so you can have the extra time that's required to book those movies. Because we can't pay any more help to fill in. We can't take any, how am I going to say that? We
can't add man hours to cover doing the
Thank you.
movie. We
Thank
need
you.
to lighten your load somewhere else
Yeah.
to get you the
So
time.
we need to know how your day goes, how your week goes.
It's going to be weird. It'll be okay. Question for manager. At next theater committee meeting, do we have a policy regarding the type of movies, sponsors, live performers, etc. that are allowed? And is there a policy or control already used that details how much of the ticket sales and concessions profit goes to the theater? And then Ann had a meeting scheduled with the executive director at Dover Foxcroft on Sunday, 1/27, to discuss how their theater is run and get advice on how we may make improvements on our way to become more sustainable. Did you want to What's your meeting now?
Not tonight. I
Okay.
had an excellent meeting and I got a lot of information. I do have a report. I don't feel I have the time tonight.
Okay. Our plan is that once we have all the data we need, we will create a list of recommendations to present to the theater committee and form there the town, from there the town council. Meeting adjourned the 23rd.
Okay. So I guess I want to back up to question for the manager at the next committee meeting. Do we have policies regarding what types of movie sponsors, live performances, etc. that are allowed? Do we have any policies, Donna?
I just have a rental contract. They've signed.
Would you mind bringing that the next time you come so we can all just get familiar with it? So are you saying that we at some point need to make policies? We need to have a new policy book?
Probably.
Is there a policy book in the theater?
No. That's it. Okay. Well, that's all right. We'll do
Figure it
it.
out.
And if you wanted to be, as you go about your day, jotting down things that you can think of, oh yeah, that might be what we need to discuss for a policy. Jot them down. You know that theater better than anybody, so jot them down and bring them. And
You want a policy on the movies? What do you need for a policy for the movies?
like, are we gonna have porn movies? Or what are we gonna have? What are we not gonna have? We have to have it right.
Like, where's the line?
Well, I don't think we're going to do porn.
Exactly. We have to
We
have
don't
it.
have something that doesn't say that, then
Yeah,
people
we
can come
have to
at
have
us.
it right.
So-
So
We're
you'd be
gonna
like,
have
why
to-
won't you let me use your theater to run this frivolous
Yeah,
show?
if you're letting other people rent the theater, why can't I rent it to have this? You are gonna have to. We're in that day and age.
Yeah. Shut them down.
So, all right. Anybody else want anything? Think we did okay? Anything that we need to go over and discuss?
Well, I think that Jennifer's going to wind up getting with Michael. My meeting was pretty much, I got zero information. I did wind up getting a written response. I believe that after our meeting, he realized that he better be coming in. I don't think the message he was giving me was coming from him. I believe he was the messenger. And when I really got mad, I even told him, I'm very sorry, I understand you're just a messenger. The reason we hadn't received the financial information, even though it is public record, and we should have received a written response if they were going to deny it within 5 days. He did write me a response after I went in and saw him. But the reason we hadn't received the numbers was because they didn't realize we had an accounting working with us and didn't think that they should give all that information. It would be too overwhelming for an average citizen that came in and requested public information. So I don't know really where that fits in. I have taken the time to view the laws at this point, and I feel as though we're not going to have many other problems. It was clear Michael's had the training because he followed up in a timely manner like he should have with a good faith estimate as to when we should have the things. When I was actually in there, every question I ask, the only answer I get is, we're working on it. We're working on it. When are we getting the credit card machine? I don't know, we're working on it. When can we work on the website? I don't know, we're working on it. Can we get a PayPal? I don't know, we'll have to work on that. Can we get this information? We're working on it. So that's really where they're at. They're apparently doing a lot of work.
Yes, they're working very hard.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. I think we'll be getting what we need now.
Okay.
And if not, we will be following up with the Freedom of Information Act.
I do want to just throw out, and it's just throwing it out, I really encourage you all to, let's see. This one's the grants. Patrick gave me, and I thought it was on here, because he said he gave it to Heather as well. There is a thing called Vendini, and it will take care of the website. It is a professional website. You can Google it, and
Do they do ticket sales as well, Susan?
they do
Okay.
everything, and they use them, and hi, come on in. We need to, these people up there have already created the wheel.
Yeah.
And they've got their act together. I've got a nice report written, and we need to look into that. That will solve a lot of issues with the website. A lot. So, that being said,
Yeah, because he didn't think we'd be able to use
It's a free
PayPal, that we'd have to
no,
use a
you have to
ticketing
pay for it,
service.
but it's software that you got to spend something to get something, and
I will
It's awesome.
break
it's
that.
awesome. So, you done? Yes. Okay. Anybody else want to add anything? Should we move on?
Sure.
Okay. Donna, do you absolutely mind if I put you towards the back so our guest speakers can? All right, Miss Barbara De Niro has come. We've asked her to come and speak to us about some of the work that she's done gathering bands for the summer concert at the gazebo, and we want to pick your brain, and we would like to start having some bands come periodically to the theater, and we would like to know what your thoughts are about that.
Well, when you have like a schedule and a plan of when you'd like to have guests come, other than have a movie, and you want to insert a concert, I have a treasure trove of artists in the area from near and far to draw from. If you're looking at a certain genre, I've got, a whole list of different artists. Of course, different price ranges.
Yeah.
And that'll be something that, you'd negotiate with each artist.
Now, Barb, we're really unfamiliar with this territory. Is this something that they get a cut, we get a cut at the gate? Do they get paid a flat rate and we collect at the gate?
Basically, you negotiate a price for the person to come and you pay them. Where you decide to, compensate, if you have a sponsor for that night, that's up to you. But if you invite somebody and you agree on a price, you pay them that amount, wherever it comes from, just like any service. If you have somebody that wants to do a benefit concert, like if there are some people that might do something for free, by all means, take advantage of that. Some people will do a discount.
Okay.
That's something you just have to negotiate with them. If you have somebody that's fairly new, you might say, we'd like to showcase you at our Pittsfield Theater, and would you discount a price for us? Or a municipality. It's all up to you. And then from there, you can charge a cover if you want and make up, the cost of that band. That's totally up to you. But basically, it's you negotiate a price with them, and you agree to pay them. I've only run into one contract so far, but probably with the people you invite, they don't have, do you have a contract yet?
I don't use it around here.
Sometimes they're handy.
Yeah.
You know, you want to secure,
Yeah.
you know, if you're making an agreement to a price, then you have a contract and you abide by that contract. And fortunately, the only thing that I've asked for that was anything out of the ordinary was make sure there's water there. I was like, okay, it was easy.
Right.
So how far out do bands usually want to be booked?
Depends on the artist. Some are maybe, could be week to week, depending how new they are. You know, if they're a new band, and I've got a lot of names of the new bands, and some you've got to book a year in advance. So it all depends on what you're looking at. I mean,
So if we were looking to book a band the first Friday night in May, do you have any suggestions?
well, you already have one that I gave you, Music Man. He may be available. He's country. I think he already came to the theater once. He's very reasonable. He's local.
And what's he play?
He does a range of music, but I think he played country western for you, Donna.
Who is this?
This is the Music
Dad,
Man.
what's here?
I don't know.
Is he from St. Albans?
Yes.
Gary Knowles?
Yes.
Oh, he did the chicken barbecue. Yeah.
Oh, chicken barbecue.
Right,
Okay,
so I'm
so-
thinking at the theater, I don't remember.
Anybody else that you might,
Yeah.
because we've had it?
I've got a lot of names. I mean, some are local. I mean, I can certainly send you a list of people you could check out. Just give them a call and ask what they charge to come to Pittsfield. That's basically it, because basically it's travel, you know, and some actually consider the venue, because if they don't think that people are going to come to town, then they may not want to, you know, come to a little town.
Okay. Would you be willing to share a list
I
of
want the real.
Sure.
what you
I
think might,
want-
with the committee, that
I
might,
want something
I mean, you had
else.
experience with these folks, you know?
Yeah, you're not looking for the typical bar band, because some of them can be, you know,
Adult.
yeah,
Adult theme.
yeah, not really good for,
Kids.
yeah. But absolutely, I'll definitely give you a list.
Thank you, thank you. We would love to start doing something like that once a month. That's kind of a, you know, at this point, we'd be happy to start doing it every other month, but we're kind of shooting for at least once a month. And
Yeah, I would take a calendar out and figure out what night of the week you want to do that each month, and
I want
have those dates available when you're
something
talking to people on the phone, and you can line them right up and book them.
okay.
You know,
No,
get
So
their-
do they typically come with their own equipment? and
Well,
everything?
Well, you're gonna talk to them about that too, like the sound system. I don't know if you have a sound system there, but
No, usually when they come, they have their own sound equipment.
and some of them will ask if you have it, you know, where you're a theater. Just say, you know, you gotta bring your own sound system, and that's basically it.
So do you have any experience with, you know, ticket prices? I know that, you know, obviously the summer thing is a free experience, but
Right. What I've been seeing for the bands that I've hired, when they're, you know, playing other places, like in Madison, they have that, they have that church that's been converted. What is that called?
Liquid or something?
No, the brick building right in town. They're getting like 10, 15 for an event. I've got a friend in Skowhegan, and they said that, you know, they get paid, so they don't really care. The ticket price is what
Yeah.
compensates for the venue paying them. So
I didn't know if maybe you'd gone and listened to any of these bands prior to hooking up with them for the summer, if you knew the ticket price.
I don't hire anybody unless I listen to them.
So I didn't know if you remembered some of the prices you might have paid for the admission.
It's such a big range.
Okay.
I'm talking big range. Yeah. And then that all depends on what you want to bring here. You know, if you want to bring a 16-piece brass band, or if you want to bring, and even that, you know, varies. It depends on who they are. I mean, you can get, you know, for $300, you could get, you know, a nice swing jazz band here. That's local. You know, and if you want to look at just bringing local artists, there's plenty of talented people. I would suggest that you get in touch with Bruce Brown, because he knows a lot of bands that, you know, for that kind of music. Bruce Brown is very willing to work with, you know, the price, and you know, he can provide usually you want to look for 2 45-minute sets, so they have a little break in between. He can probably help you out.
No, thank you. I want welcome to down.
So who's Bruce Brown?
He's a local man that, is he a teacher?
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a teacher.
He does have a following, I believe.
He's in like 3 bands.
Yeah. I think we saw him one year at the gazebo. Anybody else have anything to think?
Because usually when we do live entertainment at the theater, you try to get sponsorship for that. Any type of. Then we decide on a ticket price, what we want, like we always have. We charge at the
And
gates.
where do you typically look for your sponsorship businesses?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anybody have anything they want to ask? Donna? Excuse me, Barb.
This one.
How about Riff? Hello. Thank you for coming.
Hi. So, live music. I know they asked me about like an open mic idea, which is where amateur whatever can come out and there's a sound system set up and they can bring their own guitar, whatever, sing their piano, their horn, whatever, get up and do whatever. In my experience, I've run a lot of those, typically at bars or restaurants, and I mean they're hard to get people to come to, even in a place that's serving booze and food. I mean, I don't know what kind of people you need to come to different events, or I mean, they're selling concessions and all that stuff. I can't imagine anybody would pay to come to an open mic. Typically, someone that runs it wants money for it.
I'm fixing it.
That would seem kind of hard to me. Just my personal opinion. Maybe 5 people. I wonder maybe a few people, but I don't know. Unless you really advertise it, or if it was like a talent show thing with a prize, or.
Well, I was going to ask you about a variety show. Would that be a little bit more of appealing?
Maybe if you could get involved with maybe the schools locally and get the word out that way. And I mean, I don't know if they already do that in the school. I know Mooreside did.
They stopped.
They stopped doing that. Okay,
They've stopped.
So can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Is open mic and your talent show and what's the other thing you just said? I think
Variety.
the variety show. Aren't they all kind of the same thing, or are they a little bit different?
One would be geared towards just music. A variety show or a talent show could be
A little bit
anything, tap
everything,
dance,
right.
yo-yo, I don't know. And a variety show, kind of the same thing, or maybe it's just a bunch of little skits or something. I don't know. Similar, I guess.
Okay.
A talent show type thing would be a broader spectrum. It just seems like anything you're going to do, whether it's a band or it's something like that, it's going to take a lot of promoting. Because people need to know it's going to be there. It's something that's going to draw. I don't know if a local guy from St. Albans would bring a lot of people. Some bands that maybe don't make it around here, but it just seems like, besides Facebook, I don't see much. I'm not always looking to see what's at the theater. I do for Monday nights. I look up online. But it's, I don't know. Other ways of advertisement. The same thing with the Egg Festival. I don't notice it as much these days, besides maybe the Rolling Thunder or a little bit online.
Did you ever go to the coffee house? When we have the coffee house?
You had it?
I've been to it.
You mean just like right up here by the?
Yeah,
the
at the
Congo Church.
Unitarian.
Dennis,
I mean, years and
Dennis
years.
Rock used to show up, and Zaralinsky.
Yeah, way back then.
Very
probably.
talented people would show up, and where you're only charging, $5 for a movie, to plan something out towards the end of the year, and have plenty of advertising time, and draw from the community all these talented people. You can start advertising. We're going to have like a coffee house where people can come in, and they'll have plenty of time to practice their little act, and that might be something that a nice little community, bring back the coffee house idea.
We did it once a month too. We could always be like, when you're downloading the movies on Wednesday or something, maybe it's open for rehearsal with a show, with a show once a month on Thursday or something. Or
I don't think people have a problem if they're going to be on the chalkboard to perform. People paying $5 to come in and see, local talent. I think it might be kind of nice. But that's something you've got to advertise early. Start now.
now, I have a question for Riff.
Yeah.
If we were to get together a talent show type thing, if Miss Buzzy and Miss Weinstein and Mr. Neal thought that maybe, because I wouldn't do anything without talking to them, if they thought that there might be enough interest in something that maybe they wanted to get in on a little bit, how much would it cost one of our local celebrity music entertainers to host it?
I don't know. It depends on who it is. I mean, typically at a bar, I don't know. It's different. It's different things. I mean, I used to run karaoke, and I just pushed play on the computer for $100 a night for a few hours. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have some little bit of time. I don't really want to get involved really deep in anything that's going to take a lot. But
What do you think that if somebody else stepped up to say, I'll do it, what would be a fair price to pay that person? Because if they're looking at filling a night.
You mean as far as they're like coming out, bringing some sound equipment and
just
and
being
run? I don't see why $100 is
Exactly.
Right.
And that would be easy to have sponsored too.
Right.
Somebody local might decide to, say, hey, I'll do that night.
Right. Especially if it was only $100. I mean.
And that seems like, I mean, I don't know. I'll
Well, we
do a
could
lot of
probably
that.
get a kid from MCI to do it.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, maybe.
I've.
And they have equipment at MCI.
It always
right?
makes me think of his name Ellis that works at Bud's.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I
Very good. Yeah, he may do it. But it just seems like sponsors for most anything, if they know they're going to get the name in front of businesses. I mean, that's kind of how you guys do your thing, right? It's a group of businesses and they chip in. I don't know. It just seems hard to, because some concerts or shows or whatever, if you want to get a band that's a little bigger than somebody local, I mean on a bigger scale, the Waterfront gets a famous band and it's like this much money, then we got to figure out tickets and who needs to get paid, and that's how much tickets are going to be. Maybe you can talk a band into having a little more incentive by saying, okay, if tickets are $10, we get this much of a price, you get this much of a price. now fill the theater.
And that might get them to help promote it more too.
If they'll agree to it, yeah. But like she said, like sometimes it's like, if I know I'm playing a High Tide and Brewer on a Tuesday night, it doesn't matter what I do, I get paid. I promote it just because I just do that, but
We make sure that everybody we hire, well, we hope that they post that they're gonna be in town on their website as well, so that their followers will come to Pittsfield. I mean, that was the whole intent, is to start building this up. And if you start doing this, you know, you start slow, and each year, you know, bigger acts come in, brings more people. You know, if you look at it as how much you want to make a night just to, you know, make some money at the theater, what's your baseline? I mean, I don't know what your baseline is. If you run the theater and you make, I don't know how much is decent. How many people would be a good night at the theater for a movie?
200.
I mean, you're paying how much for the movie that night? So like
Everyone's different.
Okay.
There's no easy answer. That's what we're trying to
No.
crunch
Oh, I
numbers to
see.
get.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no average?
But another idea, quick idea too, is if you were talking to a band, you can say, well, a baseline of, we'll give you $200 or whatever it is, $200, $300 for this full band, but you have the potential to make $500, $600 if you've got this many people here.
Right.
Just by filling in more seats. I don't know, what is capacity up there?
261, but we cut it off at 250.
250-ish.
So I'll just say
Pretty
250.
good
So
size
even
room.
if we said $200 plus $1 of every ticket, they could make an extra $260 something if they helped get people
Yeah,
in.
or something like that, yeah.
You know, something.
Or this many people over this number. They do
Or
that a lot
something.
in venues. They're like, if there's this many people, you get this. If there's this many more.
You
I
got-
don't know. There's a lot of things you can do, as long as they're willing to do it.
I mean, bands want to have an audience, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
don't
sure.
want it in
Right.
the house.
Yeah.
So they are going to promote themselves.
Yeah.
So is Resistance still around? Is that
Yeah.
the young group?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how much would you guesstimate that they cost?
I can't say because, you know, I hired them 2 years ago, so I don't know what
Do you
their,
remember what it was 2 years ago?
uh,
$600, $1,000? I mean,
no, it was probably more around 300, but, you know, again, you'd have to negotiate that with them because, you know, they are local and they do like Pittsfield, it's local for them,
There's
so.
4 of them now.
And it all depends on how many band members. I mean, I'm talking right now, we have a big event coming to Pittsfield. I can't mention it yet because I'm not sure if it's secure, but we're trying to get somebody to come up here right now for a big event. And, you know, we're negotiating price and, you know, how many people in the band, and, you know, I want to make sure all band members come, so I'm not securing this large cost and only 2 people show up, you know. So, you know, it all depends on, you know, there's a lot of factors in there, and that's why contracts are good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too with those tribute bands of bands that people love. Like the most people I've seen at the Egg Festival forever was when that Elton John tribute band.
oh, I
came.
know, I already tried to get that one,
I
but
couldn't
they've
believe
got
it,
to
like,
begin this year.
There's a bunch of those though. There's a few of those. I don't know about locally how many there are, but all over the country there's tons
There
of
are,
Elton John
right.
tribute. I think there's a couple within the range here, but I mean that many people. That's the kind of thing where I anticipated to be pretty good. I couldn't believe it was like that. But I mean, if you knew you were going to fill up a theater, I mean, something like that does really well, and they were fantastic. I mean,
Yeah, everybody loved them.
and even if that was, I mean, I don't know, like $1,000, $2,000 to have them come do that, and it made it worth it with ticket sales and everything. And you made a profit.
And that might be something that, you know, you think about years down the way when people start to realize, hey, they're having concerts in Pittsfield. I mean, it's a growth thing.
Might work
And,
up to that.
You know, you can start with, you know, I know an Elvis impersonator in Bangor that might be a draw to bring people
Well, I was
in.
thinking of that too. I was just thinking of that.
It wasn't appropriate for our summer concert series, but it might work for the theater.
And like, I don't know what, if you're a little more adult, but I don't know what Bob Marley gets these days. I mean, he's not kid friendly, but
Yeah,
I'll
he's not.
tell you,
Not everything we do.
He
but
can be
he
though.
booked 3 nights. He booked 2 nights at Seasons Skylander Club in March, and then he had to do another night, and then there's one, so two are sold out, and one's almost sold out in 1 month. And I mean, it's just like,
And Tim Sample's coming this summer. I don't know if you
That'd be
all know
great.
that. He's coming to the gazebo
oh, yeah.
for the
Yeah.
bicentennial
Oh, very good.
celebration. Not part of the concert series, but part of the bicentennial.
All right, well, does anybody else have any other questions for these folks? Thank you so much. Share with us.
Happy to.
Thank you.
Do I leave?
What's the matter, Rick? You don't want to hang out with us?
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bob, I'll be in
Thank you,
touch.
Barb.
Thank you.
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate
You
it.
got my number.
I do. Don't worry, I'll be calling it.
All right, well, that was nice. That was very good of them to come.
What's that?
So, Dawn is 16 minutes.
I'll give it maybe 16,
Is there some more apple in there?
What are the girls going to do to school card?
Yeah, we'll have to do it right after Dawn.
All right, so this is December, because January month has not closed yet, so we don't have January. And that will be coming. But, everything is here. The expense, the budget was 130,951. For the month, expense for December was 7,742. 13, and for the year to date was 128,935.85. So the total expense was, again, 7,742.13. Our profit for that
Here.
month was 6,000, well, for the revenue, I should say, was 6,113.75.
I'll be right back down.
And for our loss for that month, that's not, because this goes by month to month for the, I don't do it by the year, but, was $1,628.38. And with the revenue, we are, we came ahead for the total of my budget for $54,257. We came ahead by $472.30. That hasn't happened in a while, but and then I have the movies broke down, what we've done. All the details are there. Again, Monday nights, admission tickets and seniors in general, and then the combination of what we've taken in. Film rental expense. And then on the last page, everything is broken down by day and how many attended, and it just shows you a difference for the box and concession.
Donna, may I
Yeah.
ask a question?
You can.
How accurate are these monthly expenses?
These are everything that's, these here. Those are what's been taken in, that was taken in. There might be a little
What's
bit.
the first line stand for?
The personal service,
Yes.
that's
are
Staffing?
staff and, yes. And then
So-
you have, the expense, I think that, I left that out in the class.
I think it's like FICA and,
I think that's the next one.
Yeah. I think the top one is the actual,
Wage.
like what she's making, her wage. And I believe that the
And that
one
has the-
underneath it is like the insurance and the unemployment and that kind of stuff,
And
the
that has
expenses
Social
of the
Security
personnel.
and-
But
Hmm.
it shouldn't be zero.
Right, right.
I guess what I'm
That
trying
has
to,
the insurance and everything.
what's that?
The insurance,
Right, but why?
What I'm looking at, I'm looking at the column that says monthly expense. And this makes absolutely 0 sense to me. And so I'm trying to figure out, who do I ask the right question of? Because if you're getting paid, there's FUTA, SUTA, FICA, all of those expenses, and they're not listed here. I'm just trying to get a basic understanding of what the cost is, and I don't think you're the one that's doing this. So who is filling in the monthly expenses that are not attributed to, well, I guess it would be, the light bill,
that's
the
not-
heat bill, the food that somebody's purchasing, the cost of goods sold, all of those pieces should be broken out, and I'm not seeing them here in
The
a.
contractual services has the concession, the booking agent.
But they're all lumped together.
Right.
Right. How do we get the separate numbers?
Is that what's in this
It
2
should
inches of
be.
paperwork?
It should be.
Everything is in there.
That came from 2000.
Okay. I
They could be released to
I
me.
guess my question for the next meeting that I come to would be, would somebody please put together an accurate accounting of what a month costs to operate the theater? Because this does not tell me that. It looks like you lost $1,600. I'm guessing you lost $3,000 or $4,000 because it's not accurate. And I don't know who is your accountant? Is it Catherine? Is it Michael? Is who?
Emily.
Emily. So Emily would have these numbers. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out who is going to answer the questions. Because I thought December would be a pretty darn good month because so many people go to the movies. I'm not one of them, but they go during those times.
Well,
And it's
actually-
nice to see the revenue where it is, but the expenses are not accurate, so it looks like another bad month.
Okay.
Because actually my good months are, and I brought this up to my committee many times.
In the summertime.
In the summertime. Usually from January through April, it starts picking back up, like it has. But from August till December, I said we do really well. And then I've told my committee in the past, this is when we need to bring in other revenue to bring in, because these are the worst months that I have. And we need to figure out how to do that.
Or capitalize more on the good months.
You know,
Both.
because when summer gets here, it gets a little bit warmer, everybody gets coming back up. Once school goes into session and football season's here,
The thing about it is that we'd ought to be able to look at the financial reports and know that. We shouldn't have months missing. We shouldn't wonder what is a box of dots and what is the light bill. It should be able to be divided out. And when people request this public information of the town, they shouldn't be told that because they're not a professional in the field that they cannot access public information. Is just my thought on that. And that getting these numbers from the town has been an utterly ridiculous runaround. And I'm interested
I'll
to
stop
look
in
at them.
tomorrow. I'll stop in tomorrow and ask Emily if I can get more usable information. I know what's trying to be done for you folks is to get a better understanding of what the costs are, so that when it gets to a point where you're asking for a band, I'd have no idea still after 4 of these meetings what it costs you to open your doors tonight for 3 hours. And that's what I need for an answer. I need to know that the heat, the lights, the people, all the payroll costs, all of those pieces are going to cost $217 or $2,700, whatever the number is, then when you bring in a band or an event or ask for sponsorship, we know exactly what that cost is, because that's not here. And I can't divide this by 31 days of December and come up with a number that has any meaning at all. And so all of those pieces of the puzzle are what Rochelle is trying to work with. And I will be seeing her bright and early tomorrow morning with more of this information. And that's what's going to help guide some of the answers to those questions. But it is, without that information, we can't, I don't know how you can move forward to look for membership, sponsorship, all of those pieces. So those are basic, fundamental costs of opening your doors for the day. And somehow we need to get that information, and I'm going to push for that tomorrow morning. And
then let me know what you find out.
I'm sure.
Please.
Yeah, everybody has the right to get the information, and that answer will never be given again in this community.
No, and I have, of course, dove into state legislature statutes and laws. And I did notice from that, like Rochelle had requested information a while ago, and I don't believe she got a written response within the 5-day grace period. And even though Michael clearly couldn't help me, he did follow up with a written response, because I'm sure he's had the training and knows that if not, he's going to be in trouble. Like, this can't be happening.
No, but
we cannot allow this to happen.
I understand that, and I don't want to get off subject, but we've been 3 weeks without leadership in the community, which is, and if we're all waiting for that information, and that one individual is not available, that's why it's not available.
I have brought this up to some of the members of the town council, and they were unaware that this is going on, just to let you know.
Sure. I think it's important that if you're going to be on the agenda for next Tuesday for the council, that you have a whole lot more information available to you over the next 2 or 3 days, so that your quick, concise, accurate accounting and display of information so the council can get their eyes opened up will help you. If you do not, and I'm going to do my best to assist you with getting some of that information, but I think giving a report to the council with nothing behind it doesn't carry much weight.
Well, I agree, Mike, but I also want them to understand the difficulty that we've had the last few years.
No, absolutely.
Rochelle has asked every week. We have asked every single week for those figures.
I understand.
And we haven't gotten them. We haven't gotten them, and they need to know.
Right. And so I think your report, which we can talk offline, will be, again, clear, concise, point by point, walk through them, because they'll have a full agenda, because it's happening every other week now. And there are more people in the audience that need to be aware of what's happening and what's not happening, the information that's available, and how accurate it is. Because I think no good business decision can be made without proper information.
Exactly.
And so I will, again, continue to assist to the best of my ability, and we reach out for people that have better skills than I have for some of these things, which is why we're getting some of that help. And then we'll help you to get ready to present that in a fashion that makes sense and opens the eyes. Because I think every department in this town needs to have that presentation, because of the way things have been going for the last several months. Maybe it's been this way for years, I'm just aware of it now. But if we are trying to move forward and make this theater sustainable and bring in musical acts, I was part of variety shows in the 70s and 80s, we filled the place. I was part of bands that played in the theater years ago, and we filled the place. Today's a different world. There are adult opportunities, because adults, as you said a moment ago, people over 40 seem to be the people that have some discretionary cash to come to these events. There also need to be events so that children are invited, able to be here, and can afford to be here, but parents need to have those dollars available, which is obvious why they're not here in January, because they're just coming out of the holidays, and it costs more. I used to come to the kid in the summertime because this was the only place that was air conditioned. So I go to movies on a hot night just because it was the only place in town that had air conditioning in the 60s and 70s and 80s. That's changed now. So we have to go back, and I really appreciate all the pieces you're bringing together. But we've now been a full month trying to get information, and we're a full month through a budget, and we're burning cash, and we don't know how much because we still don't understand the numbers. So tomorrow I will step up to the counter and ask for information so that it is prepared for you to be able to present if you're the chairperson and you're the voice. And you need to be a bit ready for that. And so it's going to continue to be uncomfortable until facts are put together, and then you can move in the right direction. I have another commitment at 7 o'clock that I'm late for, so I wanted to make sure I spoke up. I congratulate you on the direction that you're moving in. Really excited by what I saw for advertising and publicity and discussion on social media about last Saturday night. Again, I was out of town, I was not available to be here, but it sounds like it was reasonably successful. That's a big plus on a night that cost more than $1, which is wonderful. Can't wait to see what those numbers really mean, but what we really need to do is be able to measure those against what it costs to do that.
That, and we need it all the time, not just for Mary. Mary Poppins is doing very, very well. Right now I have Bumblebee coming in. I have The Upside. I have a Dog's Way Home. It's not just for that. I need it all the time.
Totally.
Totally all the time. It's not, and are we
That's
going
why
to be
we're
able to
here.
do that? I don't know. I hope so.
Well, I
Thank you, Mike.
But it's-
You've got a good group of volunteers willing to help support and move in the right direction. So hopefully that group that I point back to will continue to come together. I also, one last little bit of suggestion on my way out the door, and I'll talk to you offline. It's real helpful for those of us out here, and maybe I'm the only one that needs it, but it was helpful to have an agenda, thank you. It was helpful to have minutes, thank you. If they could be ready a few days in advance, then you're not reading the minutes to get your meeting started. Because everybody already sees them and understands them and knows whether there's corrections or changes. It's ways so that you're spending all of your time in the how do we better manage and generate more profit versus spending time going over things that we've already gone over. And so, again, you're making wonderful strides and you're heading in a very good direction. Continue to reach out and ask for the people that can help you, because there is a core group of individuals in this community that want this to succeed and be here.
I'm working with Rochelle.
Yep.
I've been in touch with her. I said, what she needs from me, I haven't been able to because I've had other issues come up. And
I'm going to see her first thing in the morning with information, and then I will
Yeah.
be going to the town for more information.
I think, because she and I have been going over this, and she's going to make it more usual.
Yep. It'll be more user-friendly for all of you, so you can understand what you're looking at. Because right now, it makes no sense, and I look at these numbers every day, and nothing is making sense because there's nothing broken out appropriately. So.
Mike, before you go, I've also been asking for the information from Catherine. I don't know if this is helpful or not, but I asked for 15 years of expense and revenue reports, which I think is the same thing as everyone else.
It's right here.
We've been talking a lot. Well, she told me that when I reviewed the final spreadsheet, it was clear that more work was needed, and she found it confusing, and that's why there are gaps right now, and she's working on those.
Now, Michael told me that they had all the final figures, but they needed to figure out what went into them. And I, of course, we all know I know nothing, but I do know that you have to type things in for it to add up to those final numbers. And my suggestion was, how about he just give me a list of what he typed in? But
I don't understand why it's not done
no.
there.
No.
I don't either. This is not the venue to openly discuss issues that are council related. This is trying to get the theater to go in the right direction. But I totally I understand and we do need to have better information and more information, and so that we can act appropriately, precisely, and with some speed, because we've burned 1/12 and we still don't have information, so we're not moving in the right direction.
Oh, I also told the committee last week, you weren't here, that in my budget for January, it's going to cost, I have an expense of over $1,600 for snow removal because we had 18 inches of snow.
Sure, that's understandable.
That's a big chunk out of my budget that's.
My last piece is when you start the meeting, it would be great if you remind everybody that we're on candid camera.
I assumed
Yep.
everyone was aware.
And sometimes we are and sometimes we're not. The first meeting I was at, I was specifically told it would not be broadcast, and it was.
We all were.
And so it is very important when we move forward, I think out of courtesy for those in the audience, that we're reminded. That's all I ask. I will talk to some of you real soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I say something too while we're talking about the finance and revenue? I would like to just say, I like to deal with just one person, and my person I'd like to deal with, if nobody else has any offense to that, I'd like to be just working with Rochelle Barney.
In regards to, I don't understand.
On doing the finance, like she's asked for, I've been working with her and she's wonderful. And I do the work, because I've been with Mike. I've gone to Rochelle. I've had other people ask for different information. If I can just deal with one person, that makes my life a little easier and I can do what needs to be done and then they can share where they need to share it for the not marketing.
Are you
but
having a
finance.
lot of people ask you for things?
Well, not a lot, but at first I did. I had Jen, I had Sarah, I had Rochelle, I had Mike. It's very overwhelming for me. If I can just deal with one person.
Now, can they find that information at the town office?
They should be able to, yes. But if I can give it to Rochelle, because she's on your marketing committee, I found out.
She's on the finance committee, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry. So if I can give her the information and then she brings it to you guys, would that be okay?
It is for our committee. I'm not sure about other people outside of our committee, but sure.
Okay.
It's nothing we can do outside of this committee.
Right, because it is, public.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying if I can just work with her for the
Right.
time being and to give you the information.
Yeah, so that we're not all just
Right.
calling like.
Right,
Yeah,
because that's
fine.
easier for me, and I know what she needs, but like I said, I've had other things come up at the theater that nobody else knows about at this point. I've been working a lot with that type of stuff. So,
I know you have, and maybe you should disclose to us, the issues that you have. But I'm really concerned, Donna, that we're going to run out of money, and you're going to be without a job, dear.
I understand, and I said I am looking at all of this, but I got to have time to do that. But I also have to do my regular job without going over my hours.
I understand, in this crisis, it sounds harsh, but you may have to go over a few hours in order to get this under control. And I'm not saying a great deal, but we're really in a bad situation.
I
I'm really
understand,
worried.
because, and you've been on my committee for a long time, and you've known about this for a long time. I've had other people that have been on my committee, and I'm grateful for all the help. I really am. But I've been screaming for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
Not 18 years, but it seems, because I've been there for 18 years, but it's been a while, and I have been screaming for help.
What do you want us to help you with?
Oh, nothing. I'm going to work on this.
But what would be the biggest help to you from us? What can we do as a committee to help you?
Making the policies, getting what we're doing now is wonderful. I'm working on this with Rochelle to make this more user-friendly. She and I have talked about that. I think we're getting together on Friday. Last Friday we didn't get together, but I'm hoping this Friday to help you guys also.
really just homelessness. And you like having the volunteer. Would it help if we had volunteers on another night, or should we try to book more volunteers, or stick with Monday, or?
Monday is fine. I'm not sure what other night would work better at this point, but I know Mondays work really well. I also had, I said I wasn't doing Wednesday matinees, but I told, I think it was you I was telling you, on Monday that I had Innovation Living reach back out to me because I told them that in skills, I couldn't figure them, that, and I don't want to go over, that I said to them that I was no longer doing them because they weren't bringing enough people, because everything's changed in their companies too. And then I told them I need at least 25 to 30 people to be able to open the door on Wednesday afternoon. So I had it set up today that for them to come, which was wonderful. We only had 8 people because Innovation Living was canceled. I didn't have it out in the paper. I didn't have it on Facebook because I wasn't really sure of the weather. Well, Skills reached out, and there's the ones that came today with 8 people. So we made some, well, we had some you do at the box. We did 30, so what is that, 20, we had $57 we brought in. I shouldn't say we made, but that's what we brought in for today. But it would have been more, but the weather played a part in that. They're trying to reach out to me about Bumblebee, and I said, again, that I can, if it's around 30 people, I'll do that for them, for disability. I haven't been able to go like Mike wants me to go over to talk to the senior citizens, sorry.
Oh, on Wednesday, Senior Day?
Yeah, so I've got to do that.
You want to invite Senior Day?
Well, I'm trying. I haven't been able to go over it because I said, well, I was thinking today I could do that, but they. So.
If you want to give me a list of what movies and what Wednesdays you're thinking of doing the matinee, I'm perfectly willing to go over on Wednesday to the Elks and talk to the senior group.
Because I know they meet at a certain time, and I don't know what time they get out, because with Skills and Innovation Living, they need to have at 10 o'clock. That's not going to work for them. But is there a different day that might work for them? That's what I wanted to find out. Or if they need it later in the day, or something like that.
And is Wednesday the only day that Skills is interested in doing that, a matinee?
Because that's when they have the time.
Just on Wednesday?
Excuse me, yeah. That's when they have their most clients. And I try to reach it out to everybody when I know that they're coming. Like I said, in January, I said no more because they weren't bringing the people.
The other thing with the matinee, if we know it's coming, we can also promote it with like homeschool groups.
You were saying
that
was
I talked
wonderful.
to
yes.
One of the kids I work with, when he goes to this homeschool group, I asked him, how many families are there? And he said 15 to 20 or 30 families, and a lot of them are big. But a lot of them have a lot of kids. And I think if we're going to be running matinees during school hours, that we should be reaching out to everybody that's not in school.
Because then more people. And I agree with that. I said a lot of the stuff. I said I'm ecstatic for all the help I'm getting, which is wonderful. Then I get overwhelmed. So, but anything that is theater related, like for bands and stuff, it still has to go through me so I can set it up on my calendar. I like to know ahead of time.
Well, we want to know ahead of time to promote it.
So,
can I say something real quick about the bands?
Yes.
I've got a chart that I made with Rochelle that I wrote down the dates. That's the second Friday of every month. And then we can write the band once we figure out who we're going to book. So we're going to figure out how many hours we need. We plug that number in, say it's 4. That tells us what our cost of labor is. When we get the information, I can put in the cost of how much it costs to make a ticket, how much it costs to heat the building, the cost of lighting, the cost of concession. It's going to give us the total cost. Then we can figure out how much do we need. We plug a number in here. This tells us how many tickets we need to sell to break even. And then this number is what we actually sell, and that'll tell us the profit that we make there. So I've got this all set up for you and for us, so that way we can start putting in numbers and figuring out how much we're going to.
Now, is that a spreadsheet that we can all,
I can share it somehow.
you know,
But-
like all have access to it at the same time? So like if Donna books something, it's gonna come up on mine
Right.
too, and
I guess I could do a Google document like that. I'm not sure how that would work.
I don't
I
know.
don't
It's in
really
Excel.
Because
We need to-
Rochelle's gonna help me with stuff like this too.
That's just numbers, so you could just make a calendar and input that on the calendar, so it shows up on the calendar instead of all the information for the expenses and what it's gonna cost and everything like that. Then you can input it yourself and do it yourself.
Probably has equations in it.
Huh?
It probably has equations in it.
Right.
Make it thing.
Yeah.
So it's all gonna come out nice.
Okay. We ready to talk about scorecards?
Would you like to? Or?
Yes.
Okay. I brought an example. I think you know. I don't know. Is there a list of like everyone's email?
I'm working on getting a theater committee email. Because I just
Yes,
wanted-
and we are supposed to be getting a theater committee email address, and each committee member is also gonna have a town email address.
Because I don't want to do my personal email.
And again,
No, it's
they're
not
working
gonna-
on it. There is no estimate of when that will happen.
No, when I email out for the agenda, it has everybody's email.
So I used Amber's example of like a coupon book. This isn't really meant to be an accurate analysis of a coupon book. It's just like a way to think about it that makes
I don't
sense.
have my personal one.
Right. So she said we're going to get it through the town as well. Each committee member will have a town email address. So it'll be like
How many
Jennifer
can you have?
Watson.
How many can you
Each
have?
person can have an email
How many what?
Email address for the town. You can have as many. I mean, not just for the town, but
It's,
emails for a person.
you
for
can
their
have as
account.
many as you want.
You can, I didn't know that. No, I'm just
Yeah.
asking. I know I sound kind of weird.
But
I'm
you
just
probably
asking.
already have a town email.
I have a theater email.
Right. So you won't be probably getting a new one.
Okay, let's go.
I
Sarah,
was
go
just-
please.
I was just trying to go through it.
So the purpose of a scorecard
Sorry.
is really to help organize your proposals before you bring them to the table. So when you come with a proposal, the idea would be you start with a blank scorecard and you yourself really think through some of these different categories. And then when you come us together as a group, you talk about each category, and as a group you decide on a score. That can be, you can do a numerical score, 1 through 10. You can just rate each thing high, medium, and low. Just depends on how you want to look at it. So I picked out some things that were typical that you would see. It might be a good idea to think about what matters to you guys as a committee when you're evaluating solutions. You know, does every event have to have a profit, or does the social value matter? You guys have to figure out in your solutions how much does profit matter, how much does the community matter, and maybe you guys have other values that aren't in here. I don't know. You start with a description of the proposal, really as detailed as you can be, and what this will actually look like. A cost, breaking down that cost as much as you can. Also, like with the example of the coupon book, cost not just the cost of the coupons, but that opportunity cost. So what are you missing? Lost revenue goes into cost. What resources are needed? So beyond cost, like how much time is it going to take to do this? Do you have a printer in the example of a coupon book? Do you need buy-in of the community to get people to actually use it? Your anticipated revenue, the social factor, I think in a movie theater that matters because we are a community theater. And that's really like, equity, making the movie theater affordable to all people. I think that's been a value of the movie theater. Environmental, I don't think that can be ignored anymore when you're making decisions. Feasibility is, can we actually do it? Sometimes ideas seem like a really good idea until you start writing it down. You're like, this is terrible. I can never do this. So feasibility is when you really try to look at it and say, is this actually practical? Can I do this? Then the trade-offs and the opportunity cost. Anytime you decide to do one thing, you're deciding not to do something else. So when using my time to do this, what am I losing? It's a good idea to get that down. And then what are those unintended consequences, or those things that could happen that we're not planning for, but would, in an example of a coupon book, it might be that we only attract people who are already coming to the movie theater, and therefore we've lost revenue. That would be an unintended consequence. And then what are those barriers? So, do we not have a policy that supports doing this yet? Do we expect the community will not agree? And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty basic. It's
Think
not.
it over.
Yeah, it's just a way to think about it, a way to talk about it, a way to put it all down on paper. Because what I've seen do is have a lot of ideas, but then they kind of fall. Although the more I've seen to get caught. But this is a way to really just have it down, to look at it and stay organized.
Awesome, thank you very, very much. I would like to know for next week what we all want to see on the agenda. Yes, Jason, I've been waiting for you to raise your hand.
Well, I just have an update for what I've been working on, and I just wanted to run it by you and let you know where we stand with what we're doing.
Okay.
Also, you were talking about making policy. I would highly suggest that you create Glenn's Law. And there is to be absolutely no pornography, X-rated movies. And why? Because it's Glenn's Law, and that's the way we do it here. Just a suggestion.
Okay, thank you.
We've secured a $500 sponsorship for our movie. It's from Roots and Weeds in Newport. The owner is a Pittsfield native, and he really wants to help support the community, and this is his way of doing so. So that's going to ensure a free large or medium popcorn for everyone that comes in, and that money will be paid directly to the theater. We put together a cast and crew panel for the Q&A, including Tony Bennett, Jason Tripp, Bill McDonough, Bill Casanelli, and a few others. We found a host, and we are writing a script. We finished the commercial for Roots and Weeds to show, and Shane Grant is actually putting together a director's cut of the film. So it's going to have a little bit better music, and a couple things are different from the DVD. The reason we have done that is we kind of want to do part 3. So we had to change the ending just a little bit.
Eating.
So it's going to be a premiere of this director's cut. No one's seen it. No one knows what's going on in it. And also, I've been working on a comedy show that I spoke with Donna about earlier for February 23rd. We have a group of 8 to 10 comedians that are willing to come and do their routine for free as a benefit for the theater. That includes Nate Bradford, who will host or MC it. We have Connor McGrath, who is Maine Comedian of the Year 2 years running, willing to come. A talented woman named Julie Poland. And our headliner would be Mary Winchenbach, who you might know as Maine's Turd Lady. If you don't, I would suggest checking her out so you don't think that I'm out of line on this one. You
Turdy
don't like
works.
her.
Yeah,
Turdy works.
Yes.
Now,
I got a
she has signed a 1-year contract with TNT to do a reality show.
Oh, God.
And if we do this in the right time, the cameras could potentially show up at the theater showing the benefit, bringing in money for the theater.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly the type of thing that they're doing, is following her day-to-day activity.
Yeah, the life.
And they're gonna want to show this if they happen to be in town at time.
Yeah.
So
And you have them all committed for
I
February
have them all
23rd,
committed
if
for
that
February
is.
23rd. We need to check on insurance. I can't just do this and say we're gonna do it, but this is what I have. And Nate Bradford has a stable of 75 comedians. So if this goes well, you can do it once or twice a month and never see the same show.
Yeah.
And now, at the beginning, they're willing to donate their time to help with the theater. as it goes on, we will have to work out a way for them to get paid, but we have them coming from as far away as Boston
Yeah.
for this show.
So the first show would be a free.
The first one, they're donating,
We could probably
everyone's
get a
donating
few
their time.
shows free.
We could probably get 3 or 4 free if it's starting to go well. We can't expect them to drive from Boston for free once a month.
Right.
But he does have a stable of 75 comedians that he can alternate, so we'll never have the same show twice.
And what's this man's name?
His name is Nate Bradford. It's the River Comedy Club. If you want to check him out on Facebook.
Nate, what was his last name?
Bradford.
I love the idea of comedy show. Something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people go to comedians and stuff.
Yeah. And I figured like Saturday night to get the adults out, obviously there's probably gonna be a little swearing, so it's not kid friendly.
So this would be an adult comedy show.
Yeah.
So that
That's okay, 'cause our target
have
audience-
policies before you start doing all of
Yeah.
this. Before you start confirming these, there needs to be
I
policies.
really, my only concern is the policies. That's my only concern. Do we need to, get another committee going for policy making? We gotta have them in place. We cannot have.
Policies.
Yeah, we can't. We can't. We're gonna get ourselves into trouble, and we just can't.
I find it hard to believe that there are no existing policies.
I mean, what was one of the things in the unfinished business for last week is finding out the policies from her as well as the information from her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we haven't received that information, then we can't really go further with anything.
Well, our theater manager hasn't been able to find them. She doesn't know where they are, so I would say there are none. If the theater manager
The
doesn't.
town should have
The
something
town
like
has
that.
some, yeah, but like for the comedy shows or anything like that, the only thing I have is the rental agreement. I don't have any, we've always brought it to the table and we've gone forward, like this is what we're doing, this is how many tickets we're making, that's what we've done in the past. You know what I mean?
Make the policies per event, is what you're saying. Somebody brings an idea
Bring
for
the
an
speech
event
and
and you
that's-
make the
yeah.
policies
that's
to.
what-
That,
Yeah,
then you're
we
gonna
gotta
get
stop
trouble for
doing that.
discriminating one
I'm
person
saying
over
that's-
another, and
Yeah.
Everything for that day,
Right,
whether that
yeah.
expense
That's
is
what I'm
on
trying
you
to
or extra
explain.
expenses
Yeah,
on
that
them.
makes sense.
Just like he was saying,
That's all
they do
we've
it free
done.
for the first show, but after it's gonna cost you money. And
Or
right now,
that's
you don't
when we
have any.
Oh, come to find out, we do have some money, right? We still don't have apparently there's more than one account here.
well, that was gonna
The
be
theater
the
has,
question down the
the
road.
theater has its own account. You guys, as a fundraiser and revitalization, have, it's combined. So goes into the same fund. It's like our donation jar that you said that you didn't know where that money went and you asked Maria. That goes to the, she thought it went back into the operation budget. It doesn't. That goes into the fundraising.
Right, but where is that information? Like, we haven't seen any of that. Like, we don't know what's in this account. There could be $10, there could be $5,000.
Information from the
That should be on the monthly report.
That,
I've
because
looked into what needs to be
I've
done.
asked for that, so. What was I looking for?
This week.
I think it was in here. So,
Expense reports, any of that?
this.
No, but we will be. I firmly believe it's all.
And can I share
This
a
is
couple
what we
suggestions
did.
that I've received from customers?
For different events.
What's
This is
that?
how we
Could
do
I
it.
share a couple suggestions that I've received from
Yeah.
customers?
Well, actually, no, because I don't mean to be rude.
Yep.
We are not getting anywhere. We're going just like this, okay? We're going back, we're sliding back.
So that's what we've always done.
I would like to know what you want on the agenda for next week.
Well, it's gonna really depend on if we get the finance stuff together, how much we're gonna be talking about the finance. stuff.
So,
And the town meeting is Tuesday, right? And then we're gonna have a meeting on Wednesday. So whatever we discuss at the town council
No, we
meeting.
need to have an agenda now, already done up before Tuesday.
Well, I mean, we may or may not have anything to talk about in the finance department.
Okay.
So we can have a finance subcommittee report, a marketing subcommittee report.
Yeah, is the marketing committee going to meet?
We didn't set a date, but we've met once.
So we want a finance subcommittee report. Do we want any speakers?
I have one quick question.
What?
You guys have said that you want to preview the movie before we show it for confirmation. I have a copy of Sleep Eaters at the library. You could go get it for free, or do you want to set up a time where we come in here and sit here for 2 hours and watch the movie?
Well, not during a meeting.
How are we going to do that?
but because
Because I can't run forward if you guys are going to watch it and say,
Right, exactly. We don't want to waste your time either. We sign up.
could I
The
suggest-
20-minute version we can watch right
The 20-minute, you
online.
can go to YouTube. It's Sleep Eater. It's 20 minutes of your life.
Okay.
It's not cinematic history, but it is what we do.
I called it what did I call it?
Sleep Eaters
Comedic
is just an
horror.
extension of that. We call it an action adventure comedy with a little gore added in.
Sleep Eater?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sleep Eater is the one that's on YouTube for free.
And I have a question, are we moving forward with this comedy show? Or,
I
Well,
don't think we can decide that yet.
do we need to check on insurance? Or is this where it's a
That's where
fundraising
it's-
thing that's fine?
That I'm working on also. I'm sorry to keep doing that to you.
That's
Amber.
fine. No,
But
you know that.
that I am working on. I should have some answers soon. But
Okay.
I did ask some questions about different scenarios,
Mhm.
so I'm hoping to have that soon.
Who are you asking the question to? The insurance man? Okay. What we
Okay.
need to do. Yeah, so let's put that on the agenda. We should know about the insurance by next week. To
So
be
we're
able to
going
move
to-
through insurance policies regarding events. That'll come from Dawn.
so I'll basically have 2 weeks to throw this all together if you're putting it to next week on Wednesday.
So from
'Cause I wanted
Donna,
to
we're
get out
going to
there.
have insurance.
Do we feel like, now, listening to this comedy event, do you feel like the insurance is gonna be a problem based on what you've had for other events?
No, we need to stop this. We're going to have insurance from Donna. What else can we offer for Donna? She's going to have 15, 20 minutes to talk. What else do we need from Donna so we can get an agenda so we can get going?
It'll be her first week of the hours.
Okay, thank you. Her hours. What else would we like from poor Donna?
I don't know. I think the breakdown of the expenses will come from the town office, not you, right? Okay, that's not from you then. We'll work on that on the
Because
side.
everything I submit to them, they have.
Yeah.
And
We'll just keep working on this.
So, are we going to perhaps have a new member that we're going to invite in?
yes.
Okay, so new member.
Aside from Jerry Lynn?
No.
Oh.
And we'll discuss the letter that we have sent out as well. So new members or
Response from Peg.
response from Peg.
Does anyone know how to get in touch with Dale? Did you guys say that?
I don't know, do you talk to Dale? Does anybody talk to her regularly? You do?
You want me to have her sign
Yeah, or Becky or just
Because she doesn't drive,
Oh, okay.
so I'll have to take her to her house.
Yeah. She's right in town, so.
And we're gonna all come back and have looked at Jason's sleep eaters and discuss Jason's sleep eaters and go figure out whether we wanna go forward with that. Am I correct?
Oh, I thought that was already done.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty much a done deal.
I thought we all had to view it.
Yeah.
Just discussed 2 seconds ago.
Right, that, there's only part of it online, there's a 20-minute
Right.
film online.
That we
but
need
the-
to view it, and we
Yeah.
need to have some policies before we can go forward and give the go to Jason.
I
But
thought
this
we
is-
already voted that his was a go, we were just
That's what I
pending the
thought last
viewing.
week.
With the condition of the viewing.
Right. So the viewing, we're gonna have to get together and do that, to view the big one, the full movie.
Okay. So when do we plan on doing that?
As soon as possible, because I've got this in motion.
Right.
Yeah, we've already got a sponsor and everything. When we got the okay, we just went ahead. We thought that was a done deal then.
I just read tonight that it was based on.
I'm
guys
going to tell
have
you
to
what
do
my
it.
concerns are. I know that cannabis is legal in the state, Jason.
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to bring this up in front of cameras, but I guess we're going to. I think that we, as a committee, are going to be making a big mistake not having some policies in place. I'm very concerned about the sponsorship. I think that we should consider having you folks rent the movie theater out that night. And if you have to take some of the tickets at the door to recoup and have your event, because I do not feel that a children's and a family movie theater that we're trying to promote can promote anything that has to do with any type of smoking, any type of drinking, any type of pornography, which we all agree there's none there. I'm very concerned. I'm not a prude. I understand it's legal. But I don't want us to have people refrain from sponsoring movies and coming to the theater if they think we're promoting things that are not family oriented.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
We've been running with the family orientated, and I'm trying to move it to adults who have the money. Now,
They
I
have the
picked
pockets.
420. I told you guys before. You voted why I picked it. It's a marketing. It's gonna sell. It will. I can almost guarantee it will sell out. I'm trying to bring you guys money,
I
and that's
understand.
why I'm here.
And this isn't
And,
a children's event.
It's very
clearly
true.
not a
But it
children's
is a
event.
community theater.
Right,
It is the
right.
community theater where our mission states for every child to reach its potential.
Right.
It's something to look at. I think you should probably consider renting it that night and taking the tickets at the maybe cutting, and we should discuss the cut at the ticket booth, so you actually are able to recoup the $250, $300, whatever it is that you rented out. I think there is a way for everybody to win.
That still doesn't make any sense, so it's the big problem of the 420, but now we rent it out.
Yep.
That doesn't
That's
make any
your
sense.
event then. It's your event.
Right, the community theater is not promoting you having somebody sponsor.
We are not benefiting necessarily from somebody.
I do tend to disagree a little bit. I feel like with independent film, and where we've decided our target audience, we need to bring in more people over 40. It's clearly not going to be marketed as a children's event.
No.
It's going to be marketed as an independent film event. And Roots and Weeds is a local
business.
a local business that wants to sponsor us.
And to be honest with you, I have spoken to several other local businesses. They're all excited to help out in some way,
Yeah.
but they're not gonna walk in and slap down $500 and say, there you go. They wanna sponsor it, they want their name up on the screen, they want something out of it. I've done a little market research with locals in the area, telling them what I do, what I can bring to the table, and a lot of people in this town are into it. I'm not trying to be a bad guy and, 420, that's not where I'm at. I'm at, how can I bring money into this theater and keep it sustainable? I picked that date because I know I can sell that day. I can almost guarantee we will fill that theater.
So are you suggesting you can't sell it on a different day?
No, I can. But this is just,
It's a date. What's the
it's
date?
for marketing only. It's gonna get people through the door. It's simply marketing. It hits our demographic. We have a sponsor that is willing to put $500 down so everyone can have popcorn for free. That alone will get people through the door. I'm just trying to do anything I can to get butts in seats and money in the bank.
And I understand that, but do you understand that there are other people that may not agree with you, Jason?
100%,
And that there's
of
other
course there are.
sponsors, say, I'm not even going to name names because I
don't
just
have
don't
to,
think
there's
that that's
no need
fair.
to.
But there's other people and other businesses in town that won't view it as something that now they want to be involved with.
Well, we're not gonna market it as a smoke all you want and come in. We're marketing it as a local independent movie made by local people, filmed in the local area. We're marketing it that way. The date itself is really inconsequential to me. I could do it on any Friday. I picked that date because I know people will come through the door. It's not going to be in the advertising, anything about cannabis. We're not going to talk about it. It's not
like he's hanging up, pot leaf posters.
Yeah, it's not, the movie poster isn't a big pot leaf out front for a week.
So how about we create a policy
It's just a
and
horror
contract and bring it next week and discuss it? And I don't know if we should do that at the committee meeting or if it should be at a separate meeting with the theater manager, the chair. I don't know if the town manager has to be there, but we come up with a contract and it has the policies and it states exactly what you just said, so that way everybody is happy that there's not a big pot leaf out there because it's in the contract.
Yeah, that's
it
not
won't
going to be my marketing scheme.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, and I didn't try to slide this by you guys before you voted. I told you why I was doing that. And I really think we have a lot of talent that we pulled together to pull this off. And we're just trying to share it with you guys, with the town, with anyone we can. And we're trying to do a good thing by bringing money in for the theater. And we have a really good way to do it that's not going to cost the theater a penny, and it's going to bring in a lot of money that night. I have $500 guaranteed. And then everything else, you charge the $5. You don't have to pay for our movie. There's no booking fee. There's no nothing. It's all.
I understand and I
when you
hear
get
it
the
and I
free
hear what
popcorn,
you're
your
saying.
concession sales are going to go up because they got the free popcorn. They need a soda, but now they're going to upgrade because they didn't pay for the popcorn. So you'll do more in concessions. You'll do more in ticket sales.
I'm appreciative. We're all appreciative. We understand that you want to help. I just don't want to have any repercussions from it. That's all.
Well, if need be, then I'll get a sponsor and rent it out. But
I think we want to promote local independent film, don't we? I guess that's really the issue. Are we going to promote local independent film or not?
Or is it because who's sponsoring him?
It's the sponsor that I have an issue with.
Well, who else would know that they've been sponsored by them?
I mean, they're a grocery
How would
store.
they-
Roots and Weeds, aren't they?
it's a gardening store.
Right. I mean, it's not a dispensary or anything.
No,
I mean,
no,
they're
no. And to be
people
honest,
go there
with
for their
any
gardening
sponsorship I would
needs as
do,
well.
I would not go that route.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
A dispensary or recreation or whatever they do with the laws, I would not go to that
Okay.
for a sponsorship.
Like
'Cause
420, I mean,
I wouldn't
whatever.
go to the 420 shop because that is a direct
Right,
way to get it, I
Right,
guess is
right.
what I gotta say.
right.
But I wouldn't go to that type of place. I go with what's gonna work for marketing, and there are a lot of businesses around town that really wanna help out, but they're not gonna come and just fork over money. They have to have something to sponsor, they have to have their name out there, they have to get something out of it.
So this is a weed and seed, is that what it's called?
Roots and weeds.
Roots
Oh,
and weeds.
roots.
They're in
It's a
Newport.
Newport.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Roots and
actually
weeds.
Josh Price is the manager, he lives in Pittsfield.
What's
and
his name?
Josh Price.
Okay. I do know.
And I was telling him about doing the movie and telling him I was gonna be looking for a sponsor, and he goes, I'll do it, how much is it? And I said, well, I really don't know, I was thinking about a $500 sponsorship, that should get popcorn for everyone. And he said, can you find out if that will do it, if so, I'll put the 500. And that's how that came about, I wasn't out, I really wasn't drumming up business, he's a friend of mine, I was telling him what I was doing.
Yeah.
And he offered immediately.
Right.
Because I was literally gonna go around town, right in town here. And that popped up before I even asked anyone. I have talked to a few business owners around, tell them that I make independent movies. We're trying to help out the theater and we'd like to show our movies for free, but we need a sponsor to get money in. And I've had a few people say that they would be into that, because they don't want to just come fork over money. I'm gonna leave it at that, you guys can do what you want, but this is a good way to get people in here. It's a good way to bring adults back to the theater, because I feel like it's been catering to the children too long, that the adults have been forgotten about.
And we, through looking at the stuff, you know, our target audience is 40 plus. I mean, it's a,
I know that that's our target audience.
well, right,
I
but
mean,
our,
I feel like, I mean, if you guys want to talk about demographic, then you really need to find out what demographic you are looking for. Because if it is 40 or something, well, that's great too. But I mean, I have 3 kids that are growing up in this town, and as much as I love, you know, that like adults can do things too, adults also have licenses and can drive other places to go do these things. I also want somewhere where my children can go to and be able to do things on a night so that I don't have to worry about them, you know, getting into trouble or going other places. So I guess you guys really got to find out if the demographics for everybody, for 40 or older, or.
well, does the theater having an adult event one Saturday night a month deter you from taking your children the other times? That's kind of what I.
Are all on the fact that our demographics
Right.
40 or older. Are we just looking at 40 or older, or are we looking for everything too?
Oh, I
Because
think for
that's all you guys
everything.
have been focused
But I
on
just
right
think we
now.
haven't branched out into things that
Okay,
are the
that's all I
40
was
plus.
wondering. I wasn't
kind of.
saying that that's
Yeah.
serious to my kids. I'm just wondering if
Yeah.
that's going to be the only demographic you're looking to bring in, or if that's, or if you're going to bring in
No.
more. That's all I was asking.
It's for all ages.
Right.
I would definitely keep it family oriented.
Right.
Right.
But there's nothing to say
I'm
that
not
we
just
can't
talking
have
about yours.
different
Oh, I'm talking
things.
about other people
I get it, 'cause I know.
Like, I just
Clearly
want
need
to.
to-
I know
Right.
you're gonna
Right.
have
Right. Once or
it's-
twice
I
a
can't go
month.
into
I think
Thank
that's
you.
a
detail
great
on it.
idea.
I mean,
But-
it's
Love to
Comedy
know your
shows.
opinion.
You know, it's not like I'm
Yeah,
taking over
comedy
the theater for a
shows.
week.
Have the
saying
comedy
that's the only
shows,
thing
you know,
showing
have
all
the,
week.
It's not like we're here
I just think
enjoying
allowing
I mean,
allowing
more.
you guys to do something
The
without
local
being clear
people.
policy in place
I
that
think
you
that's
guys
great.
can. That's
Do
all.
you understand my concerns?
I do. Yeah.
All right, I think we
What do
need
you
to
think? Do you
make
think
some
it's a problem?
policies.
I don't think that's a problem, no.
We need to make some policies.
So we need to get that done though, so we can move forward on this, because we need to get moving.
Yeah.
And
So when we do the independent films,
Yeah.
we'll just have to make sure that there is, so that there's no smoking in them? Is that what we're saying? No drinking?
I'm just asking.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
You don't
They
want,
smoke and drink in regular. If you go to an R-rated movie,
No, I
Yeah.
think you misunderstood. We don't want,
we don't want to look like we're a bar room.
Right.
well,
my concern was the promotional, commercial, like, like on TV, they don't sell cigarette advertisements on
Right.
TV anymore because it's offensive. We don't want anything that promotes cigarette smoking, even though on TV there's still cigarette smoking, and in movies there's cigarette smoking. But I would hate to see anybody that's going to have anything.
so you don't want to be advertising that.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah, which I think
Or-
clarifies is not.
Right,
Right.
there's not
Right.
gonna be any alcohol
Right.
advertising, there's not.
Right. That's what I was concerned about.
There is a little nudity, you said, which is
We do,
normal.
there is a
and-
little nudity.
Right.
There's no
And
sexual
R-rated.
content.
Yeah.
There is nudity, there is a little graphic violence, but we
Right.
promote it as an action adventure comedy with a little gore, because that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
There is a
But
shootout
I
in the
understand
middle,
what you're
bang
saying.
and
You
blood.
have to make sure that.
There is a scene at the theater, at the,
For our policies,
That's
we have to
mill
put in there that
where there's a
we are
lot
not
of,
promoting this, we are not
violence.
promoting that. And
But it's-
there is no,
it's
You know,
really like
once
a
he
2-minute
explained to
scene, I
me,
think.
You know, he's not going to be promoting somebody's grow house, that type of thing. That's the things that I'm concerned about.
Right.
And he's explained that, so.
It's going to be hard to decide where we're going to cut off people that want to sponsor. I mean, I don't know. I feel like not allowing them because it's a
Well, I guess
Roots
it's
and Weeds wants
I
to
guess
sponsor
it's
it.
something,
It's
if you don't
really.
want your daughter involved in it, then you need to think about whether.
I
you
don't
want
send
it.
my daughter to R-rated films, so that's kind of. But R-rated films come to the theater, and they do okay. You know what I mean? I wouldn't send my daughter to an R-rated film, so that's kind of not the point. Would I be offended viewing it? I am the demographic that goes to an R-rated film.
Yes, but do you want her seeing advertisements for an R-rated movie? It's the advertising end of it that really
She
bothers
sees
me.
all kinds of advertisements for things. You know what I mean? I
We've
don't
got
know.
to adjourn tonight. Howard, thank you for coming. Did you have something you wanted to share with us?
Well, I was just going to talk about what some of my experiences are with working with nonprofit groups and things like that. Just for those of you who don't know me, well, you called me Howard. Everyone calls me Leverett Howard. I work down here at Kinbro as a machinist, but on my spare time I work down in Ellsworth on the Down East Scenic Railroad, and also with the group that's restoring the 470 that used to be down in Waterville. We started down there back in 2006. We have a lease with the state of Maine for the track that goes between Brewer and the town of Hancock. And we work with them, and they work with us, I guess is a good way to put it. We've had some good sponsors over the years. We sold memberships. We managed to cover our operating expenses with the ticket revenue that we take in. And we kind of went to the point where we had to do some extra special events because just the ride itself has got to get a little bit old. So we do pumpkin trains, which have been very successful for us. And we'll probably get into doing Christmas trains at some point once we can get a little bit further along with that. But anyways, what we're trying to do is similar to what you folks are doing with the theater right now. You have an industry that's kind of dated, and because you can stream movies off the internet and all of that type of stuff. I've heard a lot of good ideas tonight, though, about other types of things that you're considering, and that sounds pretty good. But anyways, you have to be very creative with it, because you're really not selling a movie, you're selling an experience. You hear people talk about, geez, I went to the movie when I was a kid. I remember they used to show newsreels, cartoons, and all of that stuff. And those are the things that people that are my age group or older than that remember. And the thing with the trains down there is a lot of people have never experienced a train ride. I mean, we don't go anywhere. It's about a 5-mile long ride. It takes about an hour and a half, maybe a little longer than that, but it's an experience for people that they've never had before. And at some point when we have an operating steam locomotive running again, and that's going to be another experience that not too many people have had. I've had the good fortune of having all of those experiences back along, and my wife can tell you how filthy dirty I get when I come home. So, anyways, I know you've got a lot of challenges facing you in the future. You've expressed quite a few of them tonight. I know the building down there that you're in has some issues, and so those things have to be overcome, but I just think in order for this whole thing to make it, you're really going to have to think about going and being all volunteer at some point. I mean, we couldn't make it if we had paid people on our salary, at least not right now anyway. So, one of the suggestions I had, I made a fairly lengthy post on the Pittsfield Action Committee site here a while ago, is perhaps you can work some type of a deal with the town to lease the building or whatever, I guess, and maybe they'll do the heavy repairs. You guys do all of the, pay the light bill and do all of that type of maintenance yourselves. I don't know. I mean, that's something you'll have to discuss with them, I guess, but I do wish you all the luck in the world. I hope you do make it, because that thing's been a fixture in our town for a long, long time. I never patronized it that much myself. I think the first movie I ever saw was Frankie and Johnny back in 1965, I think it was. So I do go back a few years, I guess. So anyway, that's about all I have right now, I guess. So if you got any questions or thoughts or anything.
We can call upon you? If
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
I have a little bit of a question.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any kind of film on your restoration efforts?
Well, we do have, actually, if you go to Facebook, there's 2 different blogs on there. We have our own New England Steam Company one, and also 470 Restoration Project. That one's a private blog done by one of our members down there, and there are some films in there and showing you what we did and all of that type of stuff. And after I retire from Chinbro, I got a job for the next 20 years getting that thing going. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to live to a ripe old age.
That's right. Got a lot to do.
Yeah.
That might be something to go with, like a historical
Yeah, we're just removing
main history or something.
Anyway, all
No,
your
it's fine, it's fine.
frustrations and challenges that you face, you've been there.
So the reason I want you guys to write down is so that I'm going to talk to them.
I would love to.
What we show are probably in the process.
When people come, so we're adjourned, you listen to the info, I was just saying, when they do it. There's no number, big amount of people that come in, are open, coming, you know, coming to